Hello, hello. How are you? Today I will talk about chatbots. Uh, I think you heard about chatbots, and generally, chatbots was so trendy in 2 years ago, and then this trend is declined. This is so normal because all new technologies like that. First, they create big expectations, then they goes down, then they came back again. And for when we look to chatbots has something like same story. Uh, Today I want to talk about chatbots and how we can use in construction sector and HR, which are two important points we will work on. Uh, those of don't know what is chatbot. Generally, chatbot yeah, I think you are using in voice or text. You are talking with an AI powered system. Basically, more specifically, is natural language processing. I think you have used Siri or different that kind of tools, Google Assistant, that kind of tools, uh, basically as a chatbot. Chatbots why so important because they are a new channel for customer relations and people interactions. It's different from the mobile apps and web apps because they give a new opportunity to make a connection to the people and by chat, by just talking. So it creates a new experience, but at the same time, it's some disadvantages because people have a high expectation, and when they can take answers of their questions, they can't reach the result with the chatbot. They don't happy about it because they know this interaction type chat is so normal in daily basis, so they expect high responsiveness and and reliable answers. So chatbot development and chatbot projects are very risky because of that. uh, I have a small presentation. First of all, I don't take a lot of time. I try to explain briefly what the chatbot is and how we can use it in the construction sector and HR. And I will talk about a bit return of investment. But generally, I try to give some main points because it's a huge topic if you go to details. If you like to learn more, you can reach me and we can talk more detail. But first of all, I want to make a generalize the idea. Uh, yes, chatbot in human resource and construction. Basically, Uh, I'm the founder of Botmore Technology, and we are located in London, and we focus on generally artificial intelligence and machine learning. But more specifically, chatbots and digital assistants are very important from our point of view, because we believe that the basic step, maybe the most important step of creating AI-powered co-workers is chatbots because it is really perfect experience. It is talking, it's answering your questions, it's collecting data. So chatbot experience generally is the best thing you can reach in the AI world, like the human action in the business. So I think this is very critical. So when we talk about the chatbots, you can use it in everywhere. It's in Skype, in Slack, in Facebook Messenger, in WhatsApp, wherever you are. You can use chatbot to answer your questions. And generally, this question and answer relation create a valuable data. Maybe it is more important than a chatbot project. When we did a chatbot project for a company, always solve the same thing. We create an enormous of data in the backend. People asking some open-end questions to the chatbot, and they try to take some answer for it. But these open-end questions are very valuable because you understood what exactly people want to ask. This is like Google search. You know, Google in the Google search, people search, write some sentences, so they try to find the answer of these sentences by the websites. So chatbot experience looks like that. So when you have a chatbot, you are collecting a lot of data about your customer or user. So it is really valuable. So then afterwards, you can use this data and you can label it using the different machine learning algorithms, and you can classify it and you can understand what really your customers needs. And uh, is about more technology focused on can we create co-workers, more specifically, or of course, support helpers, support systems for the employees. And this is very important because normally an employee need a lot of support in daily basis, and there's a huge workload. This uh, support needs sometimes can be human resource based. Sometimes it can be more about the production. But which one is it? The more important thing, this kind of support, especially for the repetitive works, repetitive workflows, this kind of support can be provided by the chatbots. Yes, main responsibilities of a chatbot co-worker is in the backend is very important because it organizes the data. Uh, it makes suggestions. So I think this is very interesting because you are using Netflix, at least I know. And in the Netflix there is some recommendations and some suggestions about which kind of film you can like, or generally this kind of suggestions are working. So when we look at the chatbot can do this. When you ask a question, or when you try to find an answer to your question, then it can make a suggestion, and it can give another answer, maybe related information to you. I think this is very valuable. Or it can make a notification to you about a critical problem. If when you ask some kind of question, it will relate to another thing and you can miss it. So that kind of chatbots can help you in the make suggestions, and it can answer technical questions and find related data whenever you need. I think this is one of the basic thing, but it's very important. uh, in different workflows, in human resource, in the construction management, whatever, you need the data. You ask some questions. For example, you are asking your contract data, or you are asking some information about technical specification, whatever. You need to reach this data whenever you need. And I think this is very important because these two things are important: related data and whenever you need. To find the related data, you have to use a document management software in the backend, but you have to create connections between data and the data labels. And if you do that, then its second thing is whenever you need, because yes, there's a data, it can be structured, it can be labeled, but if you want to reach this data, you need exactly uh, whenever you need, because if you don't need that time, if you don't reach data that time, it will be a huge problem for you. And the second thing is use IoT data for the notifications. I think IoT and chatbots are perfect matches because the IoT can't speak to you, can't make any explanation, but IoT creates a lot of data in the background. And if IoT data can be used as a notification in the chatbot, it creates a good relation with the location, with the working environment. I think it's very, very important. For example, you're in a meeting room and there's a problem about the meeting room, or you have to make a reservation about your meeting room. All these are all related to your location. So IoT basically is a simple sensor, can know where are you, and it can put this data, and it can make your chatbot wiser about suggestions about that kind of workflows. A chatbot can ask, did you make the reservation in for this meeting room? And that kind of scenarios are very critical for the success of chatbot. And automated performance tracking. Performance tracking always a big problem for HR, and they try to understand to measure it, and it should be objective, not subjective. And generally is subjective because people are deciding according to their experience and according to their knowledge base, of course. It's not always true. So automated performance tracking needs some more data from the people. And this kind of data can be collected from different ways. You can use a bit of IoT. You can collect this data from the camera systems, or at the same time chatbot. because chatbot make a direct relation with the people, can ask questions and take these answers and use it effectively in the background. So in that point, automated performance tracking can be, of course, not a full solution. The chatbot is not a full solution of automatic performance tracking, but it is a good, important part of it. And optimize workflows. Uh, if you have a workflow, generally, a chatbot can manage it. What I mean, because there's a steps, and chatbot can chase these steps, can follow these steps, and solve your problems. I think this is very critical for the success, and you can understand your workflows really, and you can solve your bottlenecks in your workflows, and smooth integration with project management tools, and not just, of course, project management tools, with different human resource software solutions. So basically, uh, when we look to chatbot projects, the integration is very, very critical. Uh, for example, for an HR chatbot, human resource chatbot, you need to make some integrations to the HR systems. Then it will be more valuable, because then you can ask for example, how many days I have for the holiday. You can ask this question to chatbot, and chatbot directly goes to in the backend using the integration, and to find this data, and say it can say that you have 14 days for a holiday. So it is very fast, and of course uh, very useful, and people don't make any confusion about it, because it will be very clear. Same thing is for the project management. A project manager can ask the duration of a task or some risk items directly to the chatbot, and it can give you an answer about it. So when you look from that, integrations are a good starting point for a chatbot, because it makes it more valuable and more usable. And in the background, people are asking you a lot of questions, and you collect this valuable data, and you can make a better and better chatbot iteratively. And please be aware of it. All chatbot projects are iterative. You can say that I made a version 1 chatbot project, and we will make the version 2. It's not something like that. In daily basis, chatbot projects develops, and you have to add the new features. You have to train it with the new sentences. So it's a continuous development, real continuous development. So I think this is an important point for a chatbot project. You have to catch it. And focusing. We focus 2 points. Why I'll try to explain it. We focus two main area. One is the construction sector to support the engineers, and the second is human resources. Uh, why we focus in two things? One is the human resource, because human resource is the backbone of a company. If we will talk about communication between the people, between the employees or employee human resource relations, all this you need the, to to grasp the idea of human resource. Human resource is the backbone of this communication system. So we focus these human resources, because basically employees ask same type of questions to human resource departments. If you are working on human resource, or if you are working in a company, you know that you ask the same kind of questions. You ask, you try to take some find your holiday durations, try to understand your salaries, try to understand your health insurance, that kind of questions. Really, they can define. And this is very good for us, because main problem of the chatbot for a large domain, for example, the customer relations chatbot, people can ask every question what in their mind. So it is very open space in the chatbot ecosystem, and it's not easy to answer that kind of question, and it can directly goes to unsatisfactory customer. But on the other hand, for the human resource domain, it is not as so wide, it's very narrow. So you can focus it, and you can solve frequently asking questions, and you can create and develop a chatbot can answer a lot of questions. At the same time, it can collect a lot of valuable data from your employees. For example, a lot of company try to ask people about their daily happiness in the business. But these normal polls are not working very well. You can do it with the chatbot, and chatbot makes it better, because it can ask questions to the people, and from different questions, and it takes answers by text or of course maybe selection, but at the end it collects this data more naturally. People don't stand at a table and try to find a poll, or they go directly answer questions of a chatbot. So from this point of view, chatbot is a good part of a human resource department. And each human resource development, in my opinion, should have that kind of solution. Basically, because first, it can answer frequently asked questions. Secondly, it can make systems more reachable. Third, it can collect feedback from the people. And fourth, it can give some incentives to the people and motivation to the people in the workdays. For example, in my one of my projects, we made an integration with the system, and when the employees coming to the near to the cafe, sometimes chatbot are suggesting free coffee to the employee. I think this is a good scenario because yeah, it creates a good connection with the chatbot, and it's a give an incentive to use this tool. And at the same time, it is very good favor from the human resource. Just of course one coffee maybe, but it is very valuable. So this is just of course an example, but mainly human resource is very important, and a chatbot is a good match for it. And second, construction sector. Why I focused on construction sector? Because construction sector a lot of problem in the coordination and communication. And mainly, I believe that we can use chatbot as a coordinator. Yeah, and it can collect data, it can ask questions, and it can make a coordination in the problems and make some suggestions about solutions. So we focus these two things, and generally we can combine all of them, of course. Mainly, human resource is a good starting point, but then this human resource chatbot can transform into construction management chatbot or manufacturing chatbot or sales chatbot. But of course, first entry point is human resource. Mainly, of course, chatbot in the human resource can be used different ways. You can use it before for in the employee selection stage for the interviews, but I don't want to enter there because it is again wide domain. I really want to talk about high success rate projects. So I think that one of the main benefits, and it is very obvious, human resource employee relations. Your employees, existing employees, ask questions to your chatbot because they are already asking. They try to learn different things about human resource activities or data in the human resource. So that kind of questions can automatically answer by using chatbot. By the way, chatbot can make other announcements, notifications, that kind of things, and collect data about from the people in the daily basis. I think these are the main benefits, and you can catch these benefits in just 3 or 4 months. So because of that, I want to focus on this. Uh, Generally, it simplify your in-house human resource processes, increase human resource department productivity and happiness of your employees, and it can touch your employees for all day and all days and all hours because it is of course automatic system. We made a work on the return of investment of HR chatbot. If you are a company and you have an HR department and you try to use a chatbot, in which point it will be really beneficial from the financial point of view. Uh, we have an article about it, so it's a long description. I can share this article with you if you like. Just make a comment. I want to share with you. In this article, we generally define how we calculate this return of investment. But basically, in human resource chatbot is very high return of investment after 1,000 worker. And again, 500 worker employee is the break even point. Of course, this changes. This is not so optimistic return of investment calculation, But we can say that after 1,000 employee, the chatbot can really make huge return of investment to your project, especially human resource activities. You can say that, oh, we are not something like that. We are not so big. You can use again chatbot, but of course it can be a small projects. Uh, it can work again, but it depends. Generally, if you are, for example, 10 people, of course, human resource problems not take a lot of time of your administrative team. Uh, but of course, if you develop a different, for example, a chatbot for construction sector or construction team, at the same time you can do a small HR chatbot. But generally, if you want to make a HR chatbot, is an average return of investment for 1,000 people, like 71%. I think it's pretty good. Um, so I can again share the article. It's a long article. I can share how we calculate this. Uh, we calculate this using our experience from our customers. Yes, now we come to construction sector. Generally, if you understand me, we try to use chatbot to answer frequently asking questions to make a coordination. And when we go to construction sector, it's of the same thing, same problem. I think because mainly construction sector is a temporary production, and there are a lot of different parties working together. So when you looked at unresponsiveness between and among the project team members, inability to collaborate effectively among project stakeholders, lack of an effective platform where project stakeholders and members can easily communicate and share project information, I think these are big problems. And when you go to a construction company or any company, you can generally see that people are using WhatsApp groups. This seems a bit tricky because if people using the WhatsApp groups, there's a problem there because it is not your company value. These people just sharing their ideas in somewhere, not in your company database. This can be seen not a big problem, but it's real big because if you want to create a competitive advantage for a company in the long term, you need real data of your company, experience data, the different kind of each bit of data so valuable. So because of that, we focus on construction sector, and we think that we can develop a digital assistant chatbot with coordinate issues in the construction site, ask questions, collect data, notify responsible people, and chase solutions. In other words, chatbot is copying simple coordinator tasks. I think if you are in the construction sector or in human resource, there are a lot of coordinators, and these people are spent a lot of time just on phone or in the emails, try to coordinate people relations. Basically, the problem can chatbot solve, because chatbot can make this coordination and can register all coordination data, responsible notes, problems, solutions in the backend. So when you looked at first, maybe you can think that that is a simple thing, it's just a chatbot, but this is just a part of the solution. In the background, you have a lot of data, what the people are asking, what the people are talking. If you can see that kind of data, and then you can say, oh, now I understood the problem in my company, because in that point really you start to understand what the people are asking, when they are asking, and why they are asking. And when you start to understand this, you can solve a lot of problem uh, in a real way, not just in a theoretical way, in a practical way. So yes, I want to talk about some pilot projects. These are construction, and generally we are putting digital assistant in a Q&A. Now, normally integrations are important, as I said. You can make a lot of integration according to which systems you are using. but this creates a project knowledge base. I think project knowledge base is very critical because in the construction sector, in the other sectors, general people use the different data silos, and this is very dangerous for a company. Yes, you have the data, but they are in different places. Some of them in the cloud of a company. Some of them are your cloud in yeah. Some of them are in your server, and this is very unuseful because you can't manage all this data. So basically, create a data pipeline is so critical, and one of the points you have to focus on. But the other thing is, of course, integrations and create a project knowledge base. And of course, in the second step is the company knowledge base. And the other thing is the general construction knowledge base. When we are working on this kind of thing, we always try to create a general construction knowledge base according to standards. And using project knowledge base and general construction knowledge base, we can feed the digital assistants to answer the different questions. And we are using machine learning algorithms to make the relations between the questions and defining some recommendations. For example, you ask a question about something, but this is a related another question, and our chatbot can say that you have to be careful about this point. And this is very important because people are sometimes forget that kind of points, and it costs a lot. There's another example, basically. Digital assistant in the center, and it makes connection different parties, but at the same time it connects the other systems in the background. Generally, for example, you can use Internet of Things connection with the beacons. Maybe you know the beacons. Beacons are simple sensors just sharing location data using the Bluetooth. So beacons are very simple sensors, but you can use them in your chatbot relations because they can give a good idea about where the people is talking and location about of the people. I think this is very valuable data for the experience of which was created by the digital assistant. Of course, different scenarios can be developed, but basically, for the construction sector, we try to play create a coordinator role for the chatbot. And basically, chatbots create a huge effect in the construction projects because, as I said, coordination is so important. Maybe the most important thing is 7 times faster than traditional activity management workflows and 5 times faster than traditional issue management workflow. This speed is so important because in the construction sector, people give decisions in just minutes. It's so fast, and they are just using their experience at that moment. I think this is a huge problem for the sector. And if we turn to human resource, maybe I think is the other important thing. Again, I want to turn back. This is more operational, but in human resource, uh, you have to reach the people. And if you don't have a good human resource management system, I don't just talk about return of investment of human resource chatbot. This is a different thing. You have to touch the people in the human resource. And unfortunately, it's not possible because you don't have enough people working in the human resource. There's 2 things you can do. You can do with low quality people, but it's not working. Or you can use chatbot to understand which problem is critical in the human resource points. Uh, how we can do this? Maybe we can turn back to the main question: can we use chatbot in HR in construction sector? Answer yes. And the second question is how. Basically, you should have a plan about it because chatbot developers, including me, if you say that can you make a chatbot, they say okay, yes, I can, but this is not the real answer you are looking for. You should design your chatbot workflow, you should design your scenarios, and you should design your chatbot persona. Chatbot projects, I work on different companies. I've completed like 10 digital assistant and chatbot projects, and I always see the same thing. When the companies are embracing the chatbot project and try to add their values to the chatbot, they are more likely successful. And if you say just find a company and make my chatbot, this doesn't work because you have some scenarios which make your chatbot more fancy and more interactable. And secondly, you can add different features. Your human resource department knows their employees. Project managers or construction managers knows their engineers. So you should touch the needs of their engineers or need your employees. And if you can do that, if you can good beneficial data to the people at needed time, then chatbots start to work. Otherwise, it starts to be just FAQ, and it likes to start to be search, and people are bored about it, and it is very natural thing. So, according to my experience, you should make a good plan. Basically, I'm of course a founder of Baltimore Technology, and we are helping companies about this issue. Of course, it's a commercial site, but you can work with us or not. It's not a big problem. But if you want to make a chatbot project, be aware of that. You should need a good game plan. Otherwise, yes, you can do chatbot because everybody is using the same technology. Technology, yes, small differences, yes, there are, but mainly everybody is the same level. The main difference is how you approach the project and how you solve the project. Yes, approximately I planned this section like 30 minutes, but I think it is now more than 30 minutes, like 32 now. So if you have questions, I can reply now. You can ask me from the comment section. I will see them and I try to answer them. Of course, if you don't have any question, you can ask me later. But I just wait 1 minute, maybe. If there's a real-time question, I try to answer it. It will be my pleasure. Yes. Waiting is not easy. Maybe you don't have questions, but I want to wait. Just as I said, 1 minute. If you have question, answering is a better in the real time. As far as I see, you don't have any question. Yes. Okay. If you want, you can ask me later. As I said, chatbots are interesting, and in my opinion, they will come back. They were a big hype maybe 2 or 3 years ago or 4 years ago, but now the solutions will be more realistic. So I have a hope about it. So if you have any question, you can ask me whenever you want. See you soon. Have a nice week. Bye bye.